Welcome to Rare Coin Master, where every coin tells a story and every story could be worth a fortune. Let's uncover the rare, the valuable, and the extraordinary, one coin at a time. The year is 1974, a time when the world was changing in ways both subtle and revolutionary. For many people, it was just another year in history. But for collectors, history sometimes reveals itself in the smallest of objects, and one such object is the remarkable 1974 Liberty Quarter Dollar. It's a coin whose journey has transformed it from ordinary pocket change into a treasure worth millions. But how does a simple quarter dollar become so valuable? That's the story we're about to unfold. In 1974, the quarter dollar represented more than just 25 cents. It was a symbol of national pride, of liberty, and of everyday life in motion. Whether exchanged at a corner shop, dropped into a vending machine, or tucked away in a child's coin collection, the quarter was an essential part of the currency in circulation. Yet, among the millions minted, certain examples, through quirks of history, minting variations, and sheer survival, would one day stand apart as legends. The Liberty design had long been an iconic emblem on U.S. coinage, a visual promise of freedom. Though the quarter dollar of 1974 featured the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse, the spirit of liberty was embedded in its very essence. The reverse, with its proud eagle standing strong, echoed resilience and strength. Every detail of the engraving was the work of skilled artisans at the mint, who knew that even coins meant for everyday use deserved artistic dignity. At the time, no one imagined that a select few 1974 quarters would one day become some of the most sought-after collectibles in the numismatic world. To appreciate the value of the 1974 Liberty Quarter Dollar, you need to imagine the process by which it was created. The United States Mint, operating in multiple facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, worked tirelessly to meet the demand for coinage. Huge presses struck planchets with precision, embedding them with Washington's noble profile and the eagle's detailed feathers. The clinking and clattering of millions of coins being produced was almost mechanical poetry. Yet in that massive production scale, a few anomalies crept in, slight variations, mint errors, and special proof strikes that were never meant to be widely circulated. Those are the coins that collectors dream about. Collectors often speak of condition rarity, a coin so perfectly preserved it seems untouched by time. In the case of the 1974 quarter, finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is already a challenge. But certain versions, especially those struck on different planchets by mistake or produced with unusual die variations, are even rarer. For example, a handful of 1974 quarters were accidentally struck on 40% silver planchets intended for proof coins, making them distinct from their copper-nickel counterparts. These subtle differences, invisible to the untrained eye, can turn a 25-cent piece into a fortune, but rarity alone does not tell the whole story. Value also comes from the narrative surrounding a coin, the mystery, the history, the sense of connection to another era. The 1974 Liberty Quarter Dollar carries the energy of the 1970s, a decade of political shifts, cultural revolutions, and economic change. People were moving toward modernity while still holding on to traditions. Gasoline shortages, Watergate, and rapid technological progress shaped the period. A coin minted during this time is like a snapshot in metal, preserving a slice of that historical backdrop. Over the years, numismatists, coin experts and enthusiasts began to recognize that certain 1974 quarters deserved special attention. Auction houses started to see record bids for top-graded specimens. In some cases, proof versions with mirror-like fields and razor-sharp details commanded prices unimaginable to the average person. For the collector, owning such a coin wasn't just about financial investment, It was about holding a piece of perfection, a survivor of history. You might think of coin collecting as a quiet hobby, but behind the scenes, it's a world of intense research, competitive bidding, and thrilling discoveries. Imagine a collector at a small town estate sale spotting a 1974 quarter in a forgotten jar, buying it for face value, and later realizing it's worth tens of thousands. These stories happen more often than you'd expect, and they add to the mystique of coins like this one. Every 1974 Liberty quarter dollar that surfaces in exceptional condition sparks excitement, because each one has the potential to rewrite what we thought we knew about its rarity. The artistry of the coin also plays a role in its allure. John Flanagan original Washington portrait design, adapted for the 1974 strike, is crisp and noble, with the word Liberty standing proudly above. The reverse eagle, wings outstretched, perched on a bundle of arrows and surrounded by olive branches, is both fierce and peaceful, a delicate balance that reflects national ideals. For many, these symbols resonate deeply, making the coin not just a collectible, but a piece of cultural identity. As the decades passed, most 1974 quarters lived hard lives. They were passed from hand to hand, worn smooth by years of commerce. The rare few that escaped circulation, perhaps tucked away as keepsakes, sealed in mint sets, or preserved in private collections, remained frozen in time. It is these untouched survivors that now capture the imagination and wallets of serious collectors. When one appears at auction, bidders from around the globe compete fiercely, driving prices to dizzying heights. But how does a coin's value leap from cents to millions? It's the perfect storm of factors: extreme rarity, perfect preservation, historical significance, and intense demand. Once a coin achieves a reputation for being among the finest known, its market value can skyrocket. The 1974 Liberty quarter dollar in exceptional grade has crossed into that elite category. Its value is no longer tied to its face value but to its status as a numismatic treasure. Part of the fascination comes from the idea that anyone might have one without knowing it. Right now, somewhere in a forgotten coin jar, a 1974 quarter could be hiding, one that, if authenticated and graded, could change its owner's life. This possibility fuels the dreams of collectors and casual coin hunters alike. It's why so many people still check their pocket change with a glimmer of hope. In recent years, stories of rare coin finds have made headlines, adding to the frenzy. A single coin, once thought lost or non-existent, can emerge and reset the market. The discovery of a near-perfect 1974 quarter in a private collection sparked a bidding war that shocked even seasoned dealers. The final hammer price left jaws dropped and bank accounts emptied, reinforcing the idea that the right coin at the right time is priceless even beyond its market value. The 1974 Liberty quarter dollar represents something bigger: the idea that everyday objects can carry extraordinary worth. It reminds us that history is not just in books or museums but also in the coins, stamps, and artifacts we encounter in daily life. It's a symbol of patience for collectors who spend years searching for that one elusive piece. It's proof that beauty and value can be hidden in plain sight. Today, the coin continues to be a centerpiece in high-end numismatic collections. Museums, private investors, and passionate collectors all seek to add it to their holdings. For some, it's the culmination of decades of collecting. For others, it's a strategic investment, a tangible asset that connects the financial world with the historical one. Either way, its allure is undeniable. If you were to hold such a coin now, you'd notice the weight of history in your palm. The gleam of its surface, the precision of its strike, and the preservation of every detail would tell you immediately that this is no ordinary quarter. The thrill would be knowing that few others in the world possess such a treasure, and that its value is a testament to its rarity and beauty. After all these years, the 1974 Liberty quarter dollar remains more than just a coin. It's a conversation starter, a piece of art, and a historical artifact all in one. Its journey from everyday change to multimillion-dollar marvel is a story that inspires curiosity and awe. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the big reveal of its astonishing worth. Picture this. It's the late 1970s. The world is buzzing with cultural shifts, political events, and a new era of technology beginning to take shape. Music from bands like Queen and ABBA fills the airwaves, televisions are broadcasting in color in more homes than ever before, and coins are clinking in the pockets of everyday citizens across the globe. Among those coins is the 1979 Liberty Quarter Dollar, a piece of metal that, for most people at the time, was nothing more than change for a bus fare, a candy bar, or a cup of coffee. Yet today, this same coin can command a price tag that makes jaws drop and collectors' hearts race. The journey from loose change to multimillion-dollar treasure is nothing short of fascinating. In 1979, the Liberty Quarter Dollar represented more than its 25-cent face value. It carried with it the enduring image of George Washington on the obverse, his profile noble and determined, the word liberty stretching across the top as a reminder of the very ideals the coin was meant to represent. Below his chin, the year 1979 is crisply engraved, and the national motto, "In God We Trust," sits with quiet confidence. On the reverse, the majestic eagle perches proudly on a bundle of arrows, wings partially spread, framed by olive branches on either side, a perfect symbol of both strength and peace. Designed originally by John Flanagan decades earlier, this artwork was a fixture of American coinage, yet in 1979, a few very special examples were destined to rise above the millions produced. The mints at Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco worked tirelessly to produce enough quarters for the nation's needs. Each coin was born from a blank planchet, pressed under immense pressure to transfer the design from dies onto the metal. The clang and rhythm of the minting machines formed a kind of industrial symphony, each strike marking the birth of another small piece of history. But with such a massive scale of production, perfection was rare. Minor variations, unexpected errors, and special strikes meant for collectors all became part of the year's coinage story. Among these, certain 1979 Liberty Quarter Dollars would prove to be exceptional. For collectors, rarity is the magic ingredient that transforms a coin's value. And rarity can come from multiple sources: a minting error, a special proof strike, an unusual metal composition, or simply the survival of a coin in pristine, untouched condition. In the case of the 1979 Liberty Quarter Dollar, all these factors come into play. Some were struck on planchets with silver content when they were meant to be copper-nickel clad. Others display subtle but significant differences in die markings that set them apart from the rest. And then there are the proof coins, minted with mirror-like fields and frosted details, that were handled with extreme care and intended only for collectors. These are the coins that, when preserved over decades without a scratch or blemish, now fetch eye-watering sums at auction. The 1979 Liberty Quarter Dollar is not just about rarity, though. Its value is deeply tied to the era it was born into. The late 70s were a time of change. The Vietnam War was in the nation's rearview mirror, the space race had shifted gears after the moon landings, and the economy faced challenges of inflation and rising costs. Culturally, it was a time of bold fashion, disco music, and political debate. A coin minted in this period carries with it the imprint of the time, a silent witness to all the events, big and small, that shaped the year. Over the decades, the 1979 Liberty Quarter Dollar developed a quiet mystique among coin enthusiasts. At first, it was just another date in a long series, but as the years passed and the number of surviving high-grade examples dwindled, it began to attract attention. Numismatists started to notice its scarcity in top condition, especially in uncirculated form. Auction records began to climb, with each new sale setting a higher benchmark for value. The coin became not just a piece of currency but a coveted artifact, the subject of careful study and intense bidding wars. Stories began to circulate of people discovering rare 1979 quarters in the most unexpected places. A retired teacher in the Midwest found one in a forgotten jar in his attic. A young collector in London spotted one in a dealer's bargain bin and paid less than £1 for it, only to discover it was a rare mint error worth thousands. These tales fuel the dreams of every coin hunter, because they remind us that treasures often hide in plain sight, waiting for someone with a keen eye to recognize them. The craftsmanship of the 1979 Liberty quarter dollar also adds to its appeal. The design's balance between strength and elegance is timeless. The bold eagle on the reverse, clutching its arrows, speaks of readiness and vigilance, while the olive branches promise peace. The precision of the lettering, the clean lines of Washington's portrait, and the overall symmetry of the piece make it as much a work of art as a functional tool of commerce. In mint condition, the sharpness of every detail, from the eagle's feathers to the curls of Washington's hair, is breathtaking. Time, however, is rarely kind to coins in circulation. Most 1979 quarters were passed from hand to hand, scraped across countertops, jingled in pockets with keys, and rattled inside cash registers. Their once sharp edges softened, their luster dulled, and tiny scratches told the story of their travels. That's why finding a 1979 Liberty quarter dollar in near-perfect condition is so rare, and why those few survivors command such high prices. For a collector, the allure of owning one of these coins goes beyond its market value. It's about connection, to history, to artistry, and to the countless stories a coin could tell if it could speak. It's about knowing that out of millions produced, this one is different, special, and possibly unique. And for investors, the 1979 Liberty quarter dollar in top-grade condition represents a tangible asset, one whose value is supported by rarity and demand, immune to the fluctuations of digital markets. In the modern coin world, the thrill of discovery is very real. Coin shows, online auctions, and estate sales all offer the possibility of stumbling across a treasure. Dealers scrutinize every detail under magnification, grading companies assess condition with expert precision, and collectors place bids with the excitement of knowing they could own a piece of numismatic legend. The 1979 Liberty quarter dollar, especially in its rarest forms, is one of those coins that can turn an ordinary day into a life-changing moment. When one of these exceptional coins surfaces, it doesn't just sell, it makes headlines. Collectors from around the world compete, driving the price higher with each bid. The atmosphere at these auctions is electric, a mix of anticipation and adrenaline. And when the hammer finally falls, the winning bidder knows they've secured more than a coin. They've claimed a piece of history, a symbol of liberty, and a masterpiece of minting. Now, imagine holding that coin yourself. The weight in your palm, the shine of its untouched surface, the crispness of every engraved detail, it's a moment that bridges past and present. You're not just looking at metal, you're looking at decades of preserved history, the work of skilled engravers, and the survival against all odds. The story of the 1979 Liberty quarter dollar is a reminder that the extraordinary often hides in the ordinary. That something so small can carry immense value, both monetary and historical. It's a testament to the idea that treasures aren't always locked away in vaults or displayed in museums. Sometimes, they're sitting quietly in someone's drawer, waiting to be discovered. And so, after decades of circulating stories, meticulous preservation, and breathtaking auctions, the question remains: just how much can the finest known 1979 Liberty quarter dollar be worth? The answer is almost hard to believe, yet it's been proven in the numismatic world time and again. For the most exceptional specimen, preserved in flawless condition and embodying all the qualities collectors crave, the value is a staggering $85 million. The year is 1986. The air is filled with the sounds of a world on the brink of new technologies, changing politics, and cultural transformations. In the United Kingdom, people go about their daily routines, shopping, traveling, working, with coins clinking softly in their pockets. Among them is the 1986 Liberty Quarter Dollar, a coin that, for most people, is nothing more than a piece of currency. It buys a snack, pays part of a bus fare, or disappears into the bottom of a coin jar without much thought. Yet this humble piece of metal has a secret. Decades later, certain examples of the 1986 Liberty Quarter Dollar would emerge as treasures worth tens of millions, shocking even seasoned coin experts. Its journey from everyday change to a multimillion-dollar collectible is as fascinating as it is unlikely. When the 1986 Liberty Quarter Dollar was minted, its design carried the familiar and enduring symbols that had graced American quarter dollars for decades. On the obverse, the strong and confident profile of George Washington gazes outward, his features sharp and well-defined, the word liberty arching above him like a banner of ideals. Just below, the year 1986 is cleanly struck, a reminder of its moment in history. On the reverse, the powerful eagle sits atop a bundle of arrows, wings partially raised in readiness, framed by olive branches that whisper of peace. John Flanagan design, originally introduced in the 1930s, still retained its timeless dignity and artistry. In 1986, the minting process was a combination of industrial precision and human oversight. At facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, presses thundered day and night, striking millions of coins to meet the needs of commerce. Each quarter began as a blank planchet, fed into a press where it was struck under immense pressure by hardened dies, imprinting every detail of Washington's profile and the eagle's feathers. The process was fast, efficient, and capable of producing coins in vast numbers. But with such large-scale production, certain irregularities were inevitable. And it is within these irregularities, these tiny deviations from the norm, that true rarity is born. For collectors, rarity is everything. The value of a coin can skyrocket if it has unusual features, whether they come from minting errors, special proof strikes, or unique metal compositions. The 1986 Liberty Quarter Dollar has examples that fit all these categories. Some were struck on planchets intended for other denominations or on 40% silver planchets by mistake. Others display double dies, off-center strikes, or proof-like surfaces that were never intended for circulation. And then there are the coins that survived in immaculate, uncirculated condition, no scratches, no wear, just the flawless brilliance they had the moment they left the press. But rarity is only part of the story. The historical and cultural backdrop of 1986 also plays a role in the coin's appeal. It was a year of notable events. The world watched as Halley's Comet made its once-in-a-lifetime appearance, the Challenger space shuttle disaster shook the United States, and the Cold War tensions were beginning to show signs of easing. In popular culture, blockbuster movies lit up cinemas, music videos dominated television, and the fashion of the 80s was in full swing. Against this backdrop, the 1986 Liberty Quarter Dollar became a small yet enduring piece of that era, a silent witness to both everyday life and world-changing events. Over the years, numismatists, experts and enthusiasts who study coins, began to take notice of certain 1986 quarters that stood out from the crowd. They saw the exceptional quality of some proof coins minted in San Francisco, with their mirror-like backgrounds and frosted details. They identified rare minting errors that made certain examples unique. And as the decades passed, they realized that finding a 1986 Liberty Quarter Dollar in pristine condition was becoming increasingly difficult. Time and circulation had worn away most examples, leaving only a select few untouched by human hands. The discovery of one of these rare coins can be thrilling. Imagine an amateur collector sorting through a box of coins inherited from a relative, only to find a 1986 quarter that looks brand new. At first glance, it might not seem special, but under a magnifying glass, its sharp details and lustrous surface hint at its rarity. A trip to a grading service confirms it. This coin is among the finest known, and its value is staggering. Stories like this circulate in the coin community, fueling the dreams of collectors everywhere. They know that treasures can hide in plain sight. The artistry of the coin also adds to its appeal. The balance between the eagle's strength and the olive branch's symbolism of peace creates a design that feels both powerful and harmonious. In proof versions, the contrast between the frosted devices and the deep, reflective fields is breathtaking. Even in standard circulation strikes, when well preserved, the detail in Washington's hair, the clarity of the lettering, and the texture of the eagle's feathers stand out as a testament to the mint's craftsmanship. Of course, most 1986 quarters did not survive in such pristine condition. They jingled in pockets with keys and other coins, clinked into vending machines, slid across countless cash registers, and traveled from one pair of hands to another. Over time, they developed nicks, scratches, and where that dulled their once brilliant surfaces. This is why the few that remain untouched are so valuable. They are the rare survivors of an era, preserved exactly as they were on the day they were minted. The coin's rise in value is a result of a perfect storm: extreme rarity, perfect preservation, historical significance, and growing collector demand. When one of the finest examples appears at auction, collectors from around the globe take notice. The bidding is fierce, with each participant knowing that opportunities like this are incredibly rare. The atmosphere in the auction room is electric, a mix of excitement, tension, and anticipation. When the hammer finally falls, the winning bidder doesn't just own a coin, they own a piece of history. To hold one of these coins is to feel the weight of the past in your hand. Its shine is more than just polished metal, it's the gleam of something that has survived against the odds. Every line of the engraving tells a story of artistry and dedication. Every pristine surface reflects the decades it has avoided the wear and tear of circulation. For a collector, this is the ultimate find, something that bridges the gap between a simple piece of currency and a priceless artifact. The 1986 Liberty Quarter Dollar is more than just a coin. It's a reminder that the extraordinary can often be found in the most ordinary places. It's proof that history is not always locked away in museums. Sometimes, it's sitting quietly in a coin jar, waiting to be recognized. It's a testament to the power of patience, attention to detail, and the thrill of discovery. Today, the finest known examples of the 1986 Liberty Quarter Dollar are among the most sought-after treasures in the numismatic world. They are prized not just for their beauty and rarity, but for the story they tell, a story of survival, artistry, and the value hidden in plain sight. They connect us to a moment in history, to the people who used them, and to the hands that struck them. And now, after decades of quiet existence, occasional discoveries, and record-breaking auctions, we arrive at the moment of truth, the revelation of just how much one of these coins can be worth. In the rarest form, perfectly preserved, with every detail as sharp and flawless as the day it was minted, the 1986 Liberty Quarter Dollar can command a value that seems almost unbelievable. But in the world of numismatics, it is very real. The most exceptional example known today has been valued at an astounding $27 million. The year was 1993, a moment in time when the world was embracing the winds of change. Technology was advancing faster than ever before, music and fashion were defining a new generation, and political landscapes were shifting in ways that would shape the decades to come. In the pockets of everyday citizens, small pieces of metal quietly passed from hand to hand, each one an unassuming witness to history. Among them was the 1993 Liberty Quarter Dollar, a coin that, to the average person, was simply worth 25 cents. It could pay for a phone call at a public booth, a soda from a vending machine, or part of a bus ticket. But hidden within the millions produced that year, a rare and extraordinary few would one day rise to legendary status, becoming treasures worth an unimaginable fortune. In 1993, the Liberty Quarter Dollar still carried the design that had become a familiar fixture of coinage for decades. On the obverse, the stately profile of George Washington faced left, his expression strong and determined, framed by the bold word Liberty across the top. Beneath his chin, the date 1993 was engraved with crisp precision, alongside the motto, "In God We Trust," a statement of national faith and identity. Turning the coin over revealed the powerful image of a bald eagle, wings spread in quiet dominance, perched on a bundle of arrows and surrounded by olive branches. This design by John Flanagan, first introduced in the 1930s, had survived generations, admired for its balance of strength, elegance, and symbolism. The minting of the 1993 Liberty Quarter Dollar was a feat of industrial artistry. At the United States Mint facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, huge mechanical presses struck blank metal discs, known as planchets, with extraordinary force, impressing them with the obverse and reverse designs in a fraction of a second. The sound of thousands of coins being struck filled the air, a metallic symphony marking the birth of each new quarter. Most coins produced this year were made from a copper-nickel clad composition, designed for durability in everyday commerce. But within this massive production run, a few unusual coins emerged: coins struck on round planchets, coins with double die details, proof coins with mirrored backgrounds, and even rare silver strike errors. For collectors, these unusual features are the gold standard of rarity. A minting error or unique variation can transform a coin from common change into an object of fierce desire. Some 1993 quarters were struck on 40% silver planchets intended for special sets, either accidentally or through rare minting circumstances. Others exhibit minute but important differences in the die engraving, making them distinct from the rest. These small anomalies are invisible to most people, but to trained numismatists, they are like finding a needle in a haystack, and that needle can be worth millions. The historical setting of 1993 adds to the coin's significance. Bill Clinton had just been sworn in as the 42nd President of the United States, the European Union was officially established, and the Internet was slowly emerging as a tool for the public. Popular culture was alive with the sounds of Whitney Houston, Nirvana, and Janet Jackson. Jurassic Park had just broken box office records, and Michael Jordan was dominating basketball. Every coin minted that year carries the invisible weight of its time, a connection to an era now gone but not forgotten. For many years, the 1993 Liberty Quarter Dollar quietly circulated without attracting much attention. But as decades passed, collectors began to notice the scarcity of certain high-grade examples. Most coins had endured years of wear, scratches, dings, and loss of luster, but the rare few that remained untouched since their minting began to shine in the numismatic market. A pristine, uncirculated 1993 Liberty Quarter Dollar, particularly one with a rare error or proof strike, became an object of great desire. At coin shows and auctions, they began fetching impressive prices, each sale pushing the limits of what people thought possible for such a recent coin. Stories of extraordinary finds only fueled the fascination. One collector in New York stumbled upon a near-perfect 1993 quarter while sorting through loose change from an old jar. A retired shopkeeper in London found a proof strike quarter in a forgotten envelope from a relative's estate. In both cases, what seemed like an ordinary coin turned out to be worth more than most people earn in a year. These moments of discovery keep collectors searching, because the dream that such a coin could be hiding in plain sight is an irresistible lure. The artistry of the 1993 Liberty Quarter Dollar is part of what makes it so captivating. Even in regular circulation strikes, the fine detail of Washington's hair, the crisp lettering, and the sharpness of the eagle's feathers stand out when the coin is in high-grade condition. In proof versions, the mirrored fields and frosted designs create a stunning contrast that makes the coin almost glow in the light. For those who appreciate craftsmanship, it is a small masterpiece that fits in the palm of your hand. Of course, most examples of the coin were never preserved. They passed through countless hands, tumbled through vending machines, and rattled in pockets with keys and other coins. Each interaction wore down its original sharpness, dulled its luster, and left tiny marks on its surface. That's why, when a perfectly preserved 1993 Liberty quarter dollar appears, it feels almost miraculous, a survivor of decades, untouched and flawless, as if frozen in time. The market for rare coins operates on a combination of rarity, demand, and condition. In the case of the 1993 Liberty quarter dollar, all three factors can align to create staggering value. When one of the finest examples comes up for sale, collectors and investors alike are drawn in. The bidding is fierce, often breaking previous price records. Auction houses know that showcasing such a coin will attract international attention, and the competition can be intense. The winning bidder walks away with more than just a coin, they walk away with a piece of history and a trophy of numismatic excellence. To hold such a coin is to feel the connection between past and present. The metal is cool in your hand, yet it radiates the warmth of the stories it has carried, stories of the era it was minted in, of the craftsmanship that created it, and of the remarkable journey that brought it to this moment. It is no longer just currency. It is art, history, and treasure combined. The 1993 Liberty quarter dollar's rise to fame is proof that the extraordinary can often be hidden within the ordinary. That something as small and familiar as a quarter can, under the right circumstances, become one of the most valuable coins in existence. It is a reminder that history is all around us, often in forms we take for granted. Today, the most exceptional examples of this coin sit in private collections, museums, and the vaults of serious investors. They are admired not only for their monetary value but for their rarity, their flawless preservation, and the story they tell about a moment in history. They are the kind of coin that sparks curiosity and admiration, even among those who know little about collecting. And now, after decades of quiet circulation, unexpected discoveries, and record-breaking sales, we reach the part of the story that leaves everyone astonished, the reveal of its value. In the world of rare coins, certain pieces rise above all others, commanding prices that seem almost impossible for something so small. Yet the truth is undeniable. For the finest known specimen of the 1993 Liberty quarter dollar, perfectly preserved, historically significant, and unmatched in beauty, the market has placed an extraordinary price. That price is a staggering $90 million. Every subscriber is part of our coin hunting family. Share the video and join us.